Hey there, every week I post 4 problems for students and parents and teachers to practice using tape diagrams to visually represent their understanding of word problems at their level. And the purpose of tape diagrams is to develop a deep understanding of the word problem rather than just to grab the numbers in the problem and just do random arithmetic in hopes of getting the right answer. And so each week I also post a video showing how I modeled the problems with tape diagrams, and mine are only one way to model the problems. I encourage you to share in the comment section below your thinking about how you modeled these problems. In the video description below, I've also included links to each of the problems so you can skip straight ahead to whatever problem you're interested in. And I've also included the link to the problems themselves. So, you know what? Let's just get started on this. And we're going to start with the early elementary problem. Nestor has 12 candles. 7 of the candles are red. The rest of the are yellow. How many candles are yellow? So since we only have one character in this problem, it's probably going to be a one tape diagram. Not always, but usually. And so there is my tape, and it says Nestor has 12 candies. So this is going to represent my 12 candies. And it says 7 of the candies are red. Okay, well, that's fine. So let's just say here are the red ones, and we're going to label that as 7. And it says the rest are yellow. So let's call this yellow enough. And it says we want to know how many candies are yellow. And there is our visual representation of this problem. What are we going to do to get the answer? Oh, we're probably going to do something along the lines of 12 minus 7 is 5. So we have 5 yellows for Nestor. All right. In the upper elementary, Jaden and Kim have some frogs. Kim has 4 times as many frogs as Jaden. They have 30 frogs in total. How many frogs does Kim have? So we have 2 characters. We have, let's see, Jaden, and we have Kim. All right. And because we have 2 characters, we're probably going to have, but not every time, 2 tape diagrams, 2 bars in our model. Now it says Jaden has some frogs. Okay, so I don't know what his looks like. Let's just say, whoa, that's not what I want. I want a nice, beautiful rectangle. There we go. And so there is Jaden's unit that represents his frogs that he has. And then it says Kim has 4 times as many. So, all right, so that means Kim is going to have that one. She's going to have this one. And then she's going to have these. So Kim has 4 times as many as Jaden. It says they have 30 frogs all together. So that means all of these put together are equal to the 30 frogs that we're talking about. And so we could see, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units is equal to 30 frogs. Using a little bit of division, that means 1 unit has to equal 6 frogs. So each of these units has 6 frogs. And then we want to know how many frogs does Kim have. So these 4 units is what Kim has, and that's 24 frogs. There we go. All right, so the middle school problem, Mark and Sean. So we have 2 characters. We're probably going to do a 2 tape diagram, but let's just find out. They take part in a quiz. Mark gets 8 questions wrong. Sean gets 40 questions wrong. Mark gets 3 times as many questions right as Sean. So, okay, so my goodness, what's going on here? So what we could do is we have 2 characters, of course. We have Mark and we have Sean, and they're taking the exact same quiz. So let's just draw a tape, and there's my tape, and we're going to call this tape the quiz. All right, there we go. I need to make a second one for Sean because they're taking the exact same quiz. Now it says Mark missed 8 questions. I don't know what that's going to look like. Let's just cross off some and say, all right, that's his 8 questions that he missed. Then it says Sean gets 40 questions wrong. So I don't know where 40 is. Let's just say, for sake of argument, all right, this is good enough. Here is our 40 questions that he got wrong. Then it says Mark gets 3 times as many questions right as Sean. So I don't know how well I drew this. Oh, not actually too bad. Because Mark's leftover questions are correct and Sean's leftover questions are correct. But Mark's questions are supposed to be 3 times as many as Sean's. So in purple, I'm going to say, okay, so this is what Sean got correct. So I'm going to say Mark is supposed to get 3 times as many as that. So I'm kind of outlining his problems. And then there we go. We can see that Mark has 3 times as many correct as Sean. So it says how many questions were on the quiz. So what are we going to do? Well, it turns out we can see that from here to here represents the difference in questions wrong that Mark and Sean got. And we can do 40 minus 8 to get 32. So that means these 32. So that means these 2 units right here has to represent 32 questions. All right. Well, that means each unit must be 16, which means this extra unit is also 16, which means Sean's is 16. And now we know exactly how many questions are on the test, because for Sean, all we have to do is 16 plus 40. So Sean, 16 plus 40 equals 56 questions that were on his quiz, test, or whatever it was. Oh, quiz. Just to make sure we could do Mark. Now Mark is 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 8 right here. 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 8. Let's verify that that also adds up to 56. And sure enough, let's see. 16 plus 16 plus 16, that's 48. And then 48 plus the remaining 8 right there gives us 56 questions. So there's 56 questions on that quiz. Now for the challenge. All right, so Alina, Blanca, and Carla have some money. The ratio of Alina's money to Blanca's money is 3-7. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of guess that we know we're going to have 3 tapes in this question because we've got 3 characters, Alina, Blanca, and Carla. All right. The ratio of Alina's money to Blanca's is 3-7. Okay, well, we know how to do that. Alina's money to Blanca's money is 3-7. So, all right, so that means I need 3 units for Alina, and I need 7 units for Blanca. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just one extra unit for Blanca. There we go. Now, it says Blanca and Carla each spend half their money. Now, right now, we don't know how much Carla has, do we? But Blanca and Carla each spend half their money, and at the end of that, Blanca has $106 more than Carla. All right, so that kind of gives us a hint. So when we take half of Blanca's money, that will be $106 more than what Carla has. So I don't know what 106 looks like. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to say, okay, let's call this Oh, come on. Make a straight line. Come on, baby. Make a straight line. There we go. Oh, no, not a straight arrow. There we go. Woo! Jeez Louise. No editing here, folks. Okay, so Carla, I don't know how long her bar after she spent half of her money is going to be, but I'm just going to say that this is good enough. So I'm just going to say from here to here represents, and I'm going to zoom in, the $106 that is the difference between Blanca and Carla after they've spent their money. Now, at the end, they have $314 in total. So what we are currently looking at right here, these 3 units, these 3.5 units, this stuff plus the extra 106, that represents $314. All right, so now I'm going to circle that in orange right here, but I'm going to also pretend right here that I'm going to include an extra $106 right here. I'm going to pretend Carla has an extra $106. That way she will have 3.5 units worth of money, just like Blanca does. All right. So that means when they were supposed to have 314, so all of this after it's been spent, that piece has been spent, is supposed to be $314, but I overcounted by 106 down here. So I'm going to add an extra $106. So that ends up being $420. All right. Now, what is $420? That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. But then down here represents another 3.5. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. So what we're currently looking at right here is 10 units. And those 10 units represents $420. So 1 unit must equal $42. And it says, how much did Carla have at the start? Well, Carla had, let's see, Carla had this much, well, she had this much minus the 106. So I just have to say, oh, so she had 1, 2, 3.5 units at 42. So she had 3.5 units at 42 for each unit. So that's 342 times 3. That's 126 plus an extra half of a unit. That's $147. So right here, these 3 would be 147. But that 147 is 106 more than Carly actually had. So I need to then subtract 147, take away 106. That equals $41. But then I have to double it because remember, Carly spent that what we are currently looking at is half of her money. So 41 plus another 41 is $82. So how much money did Carla have at the beginning? She had $82. Folks, man, on this one, I would love to hear about your more efficient ways to explain this problem. That was a blast. And that wraps up another week of Tape Diagram Tuesday.